It's the HipHopGamer Show.
Yo, what up, man? It's the one and only Hip Hop Gamer, Hot 97, BET, GameStop. You already know what it is. Listen, man, I don't watch Heroes a whole lot, but I just played a game that makes me want to be a part of that universe now. Gemini. What the hell did you create? One of my favorite. I just gotta say this real quick. Like, this man, if you don't know who he is, I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna give you a little legacy, right? If you're a fan of Mortal Kombat 9, this is the man. This is one of the guys that made you happy when you played that game. You know what I'm saying? If you're a fan of Stranglehold, this is somebody that made you happy, sacrificed his body to make you happy. Okay? Now, the third thing I want to say is this. Not only is it an honor to meet you and find out these things about you, before we even start about the game, give us a little history on why your passion for gaming has grown this much that allow you to do what you have done for the industry.
So a long time ago, I got my start in traditional animation and doing things like Animaniacs episodes and stuff like that. And I know he didn't know until now. So
wait, we gotta stop right there. See, you did Animaniacs episodes?
Yeah, I did a few.
I need you to hold the belt throughout this introduction that you're giving us. All right, cool. Go ahead, please. All right, start over. Let's go.
So let's go. Heavy. So then. From there, like, the next big challenge was getting into video games and being an animator and moving through design and becoming a lead designer, right? One of the things that I've always tried to strive for is constantly challenging myself, right? Like, what's the next hardest thing I can take on? What's the next dangerous role we can jump into and create, like, the next big thing? And that's one of the beautiful things about games, is that there's always some giant challenge looming on the horizon that is, like, you have to figure out what that challenge is and then how to, get past it, right? Yeah. So that's kind of like my philosophy, and where we're always trying to, like where's that next big peak we can climb, sort of a thing. This thing is nuts. I'm gonna move it.
Oh yeah, you can sit over there. So this is crazy, man. So now let's talk about Gemini, Heroes Reborn and stuff. Now, I just played this game, and one of the most amazing things about this game is the way you utilize time shifting for your gameplay, and the way you bring the character to life to make them understand what's actually happening around them and stuff like that. I think that's phenomenal. Can you kind of walk us through how not only the idea came about, but how also it was executed in the way it works in the game?
Sure. So when we were first exploring this sort of like environmental mechanic of shifting time to move between the two time periods, one of the ways I was kind of had this like little epiphany when I was trying to figure out how it would work was if you go back and play some of the old OG Zeldas, right, where you've got the maps and you see the difference between level 1 and level 2 of the dungeon that you're on is you're both in these. The floor plans look the same, but you can't get past this door on level 1 that you can get above it on level 2, right? And then you drop the bomb on the floor. They put the crack in the floor and it shows you can get through. And if you bomb the floor, you can now drop through from level 2 to level 1. And it's this really great spatial mechanic. They show you on the map of people start figuring it out of wait, I think I can get in there. And so I was driving down the road to work one day and I was like, wait, what if instead of level 1 and level 2 of a floor plan, what if that was like the past and the present, right? So I can't get past this door in the past. So I can't get past it in the present. And so the way to get past it is I time shift to the past where the door is open or there's a hole in the wall or whatever, and I go through that, and then I time shift back, right? And so now I've accessed that room that I couldn't get into by using the same idea, but instead of spatial awareness, it's like a temporal time awareness, right?
Amazing. Now, you know what else comes to my mind? Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. That's another one that comes to my mind. So, besides Prince of Persia, Psyops we talked about, Timesplitters we talked about, but this particular generation, I feel like you're redefining the entire idea of what this could be again. And I think that's the beauty of not only this game, but where the industry is going with your developmental talent. You see what I'm saying? So now, my next question is, now, a lot of people, they'll probably be like, dang, I want to use gun though, I want to shoot, you know what I'm saying, because you got some security guards, they got shotguns, they working synergetically trying to kill you and all this other stuff. But because of your power, there's things that you do that's actually cooler than using the guns. Can you kind of explain to the fans some of the cool things that you could do? One of my favorites is, the Matrix moment, but I'll let you talk about that. Let's go.
So with the gunplay and stuff like that, one of the things that we kind of wanted to avoid, because it doesn't really come up on the show that much, is player-controlled gun use, right? That we didn't want to do a lot of like direct damage and like shoot a fireball or do an eye laser thing. That we wanted to sort of make combat a little bit more puzzly. Like I have to find a piece of my environment to throw at them. And if you could just pick up a gun in the world that somebody dropped with your TK and throw it, the next big question is, well, why can't I then manipulate the trigger with my TK and make it shoot? And so we sort of avoided all of that by saying you just can't pick the guns up, because we didn't want you to use the guns, right? The guns are what the guards have. And the whole point is that if you aren't using your abilities, anybody with guns is way more powerful than you are. You're just a normal human being, right? That's the normal power dynamic of a gun versus a human being. Yeah. But if you're using your abilities, your TK and your time abilities in conjunction with each other, now suddenly you're way more powerful than anybody with guns. So we don't want you to use a gun, right? We want you to use your abilities, because then your power dynamic is way stronger than the guns.
Now, well, I'm gonna tell you something just to let y'all know. I'm from the hood, from Brooklyn, East New York. Now I know y'all looking at me like, come on, hip hop, you can't use the guns. I don't know about this game. I'm telling you right now, I played it already, and I understand exactly what this man is saying, because there was a time in the game where they shot at me. I was able to stop the bullet or stop a rocket and shoot it back at them. It just opened my mind to a new way to be badass. You see what I'm saying? So I don't even miss the gun. Like I don't even think about it now that I could do what I can do. So trust me, I get it, and y'all will get it too. Now the next question is, how much of the game ties into the show? Because I know you said you don't need to watch the show to appreciate the game, but playing the game may make you want to watch the show. So what type of tie-in did you guys have to complement one another in terms of the mediums?
Right. So, making the game, we had direct access to show creators and stuff, and they actually loaned us their writers. A head writer, Raven, wrote the Gemini script, and but what we like to say is this game takes place within the Heroes universe. You don't need to know a thing about Heroes to enjoy the game. It's a standalone story. It stands on its own. And what we've done is we've sort of sprinkled in some little secrets and some little hints, Easter eggs, if you will, to the show that are sort of out of the way. And if you really love the show, you'll go through and you'll try and find them all and find all these files on people and characters that you enjoyed from previous shows or seasons or even from this season. And there's even some secrets about characters that exist only in this game as well, hidden throughout the levels and stuff like that for you to find.
Now, because you said it's a standalone game, would it be safe to say that you guys is aiming to make this like a franchise as well? Because I think that with what you got here, it's unlike anything this generation, like I said. So I feel it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, dog. I feel it's something that I think is needed. Don't worry, take your time. Like that New York weather is crazy. So but I feel it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that different and it works that damn good. So is this something that could be a franchise and a standalone brand to be like the cousin to what Heroes is on TV?
I would love it personally if we got to do one of these a year for everybody. I love working on this kind of a project. So if this does well, hopefully there will be a sequel for it. The nice thing is that there is a mobile game that ties into this game, that their stories cross over each other, right? Nice. So if you can't get enough of this one, go get the mobile game as well, because their stories cross over and sort of like feed into each other, right? So you'll see characters in both that sort of like, because both games take place within the same complex. Yeah. So you'll see another character, Dolly, is the star of the mobile game, and Cassandra's the star of this Gemini game. Yeah. And their paths cross throughout their stories. Mm-hmm. So you'll see that. And you'll see it from each person's perspective as well. So
now I want to bring something up. Like, you're the first developer I got a chance to speak with ever since I watched the Game Awards. So shout out to my man Jeff Keighley for doing the good Game Awards. And one of the things that bothered me, which bothered a lot of people in the industry, was when Kojima wasn't allowed to be there to get his award because like the whole Konami thing and the whole lawyer and all this other bull. And in my opinion, legalities, whatever. But this is a culture. It's certain times where you just got to rise above the bull and do what's right and do what's fair. It's not always about what law is this. Sometimes it's just about right and wrong. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Period. We grew up on this, and a lot of these lawyers wouldn't have jobs if it wasn't for this industry existing in the first place. You see what I'm saying? It's just, so for someone like yourself to see that happen or take place, how does it make you feel? Because a lot of times people don't understand what it takes. Like we were just talking how it took like 80 hours and to do this and do that, like night in and night out. A lot of people don't understand, let alone respect what it takes to do what y'all do. So I always try to bring that to the forefront in my interviews because I genuinely care. Now, just to let you know something, I'm not sure if you know, but my grandma's, she taught me how to play games when I was 4 years old, and she passed away in 2010. So not only did she raise me, but she also taught me what I do now. Like, this is crazy. So I just want to know, you know, how you feel, and what would you tell the fans that support the industry, the culture? Like, you know, what would you say to them in terms of your you know, your experience working hard, trying to give them something fun, and also how did it make you feel to see that Kojima couldn't even be there to accept this award?
Well, first off, I just like to thank any fans out there, right, who anytime, like when you were getting excited about it, it makes my day. Because, you know, we kill ourselves we love making these things for you, so we want you guys to enjoy playing them. And, you know, anytime I see fans say things like, oh, the developers are lazy and stuff like that, like, I've never personally met a lazy dev, right? That we're always killing ourselves. And a lot of times, if something doesn't quite meet the snuff or standard of, you know, the community, which that happens, a lot of times it's like we didn't have the time or the money or the energy we wanted to put into it, right? That everybody's always working hard, trying to give you guys the stuff that you love. As far as the Kojima thing, man, I've had lawyers tell me that I can't say things, right? Like, I've had lawyers control me before, and it sucks. And it's part of the game. Like, we don't pull the strings. And I think that's the takeaway, is for people to understand, is that the developers, we don't call the shots, right? We just make the games. So that's kind of where it's at, right? Like, we all felt it. We were all like, it really stinks. And for some of us, we actually kind of know how that feels a little bit, to a degree. I'm not going to say I know exactly how he feels, right? But yeah, we get it. So
now, the reason why I wanted you to speak on that, the reason why I wanted you to touch on that is because I want people watching to understand that every time you push a button on a game, every time you see a character walk in a game, every time you see an explosion happen in a game, it could have took months to do that one little thing that you just did. Could have took months for someone else to do to get it right. So understand, every little piece of anything you see in the game, if you understood what it took, 'cause it's not like a movie. You already got the human, you already got the person walking. You got to develop it, build it, give them a brain. So I feel that, like, it's just like with cops in the community. There's no relationship there. That's why you see so much bad things happen. I feel like in the gaming culture, developers and the end user, there's no relationship there. And one of my goals is to bring that relationship back. So when I do my interviews, I want you to see the relationship that I have, because I'm a gamer first. I got over 20,000 games from Commodore 64 to now. I'm the man, period. I rock out with games, dog. So it just means a lot to me. So now, a couple more questions. During the process of developing this game and you know, getting the controls right and get the controls tight and stuff like that, what's some of the things that probably didn't make it into the game that you guys wanted to put in that maybe could be added, maybe with a patch or a post-release?
Well, there's definitely some puzzles and things like that we didn't have time to polish up and put in there that we would like to see get back in there. And there's a special enemy that I know we had to cut based on time that didn't make it in.
See, he said special enemy. Now I'm going to be thinking, like, what was, man.
Yeah, so, but ideally, like, what I would love to do is, if we had the time or the energy, or, you know, the time, budget, everything permitting, is do like sort of an expansion and give you like more content, like more levels and stuff like that. But I'm not committing. That's not, again, remember me saying I don't pull all the strings, right? It's not my call to make. So hopefully,
wishful thinking.
Yeah, so we would love to give you more, like, but you know, if this sells well, then there'll probably be more.
I hope so, man. Now I got a major question for you, dog. One of the things that I noticed watching this whole entire gameplay demo and playing the game myself is, after I've gotten a taste of PlayStation VR and I've gotten a taste of Oculus, especially with the PlayStation VR, because PlayStation VR, I know Oculus have these hand controllers too, but I never used those. But I used the PlayStation Move with PlayStation VR. I've used that before, and I'm telling you right now, this game, I truly believe, would sell 1 million copies if people got a chance to play this in VR, and the moment they get shot at, they just hold their hand up and stop the bullet.
Yeah,
dude. Just speak.
So here's the thing that remember, we're gonna tie all this together with the lawyers and pulling the strings.
Yes.
And there's NDAs. I can't. All I can say is no comment. That would be really cool. That would be really cool but
wait.
can't actually comment on it. So
I'm gonna walk you through what I know and believe should happen. And also, just let you know, I'm a journalist. There's a reason why I ask certain questions, because I probably already know the answer. I'm just trying to see if I can get it out of them. Yeah. So, I break stories. This is what I do. So, I'm gonna say this and what I think would be really cool. But when you're when you hold your right arm up and you can stop the bullet, and depending on how hard you throw it, because it's a charge. So I could go like this, it'll be light. I go like this, it'll be hard. You know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, when I'm grabbing somebody and stuff like that, I can hold it up like this, while I could just aim it like that and throw it. It's natural. So to me personally, looking at this game, I feel like this game was developed with VR in mind already, because the way it feels in the actual controls, it's designed like if I had it like that, it would just work naturally like that. So that's just my assumption. I'm usually right, so we'll see. So we'll see what happens from there. But I think this would be an incredible VR game, and considering this game comes out January and the VR come out next year as well, it just seems, But
that would be nice.
I think that'd be nice. Now, two more questions, and I'm gonna wrap it up. Mm-hmm. What's the first game you ever played in your life that you remember?
So the first game I ever played in my life that I remember. I think if I go all the way back, I think I even wrote about this on my site Gameism.com. I think it was Moonlander in the arcade, and I was probably about 7 years old, I think. So really old. Yeah, it's the one where you had the pure Newtonian physics control vector base on the little lander, and you're trying to get it to land in low gravity and stuff, and it's a harsh game. You die real fast, and I died like that 3 times in a row, immediately done. So
wow. But at least we know Moonlander is your start. That's dope. Now for my final question, man, when it comes to this particular game and what I've been able to experience, like I said, it's damn good. Like, it really is damn good. What have you learned making this particular game that have probably drew up an idea on like another game that you would want to make, or another game that you will be want to be a part of, or maybe another developer studio that you feel is like, yo, if we work with them, we can make this even like crazier? Because I know you had mentioned BioShock Infinite as well and stuff like that. So I would love to know. That, like, developing this game and what you've learned through the development process of this game, what more can be done, even if it was a new game that you made or someone that you would like to partner with?
I think just the most general, like, non-specific answer to that, sorry to be that way, is that I've learned so much about Unreal 4 developing this project, that using blueprints to do rapid prototyping and actually like push our game design further in a really fast, rapid way. We actually learned a ton making this game, and like I'm kind of looking forward to using that to build new prototypes, like going forward, like taking what we learned from this and using that to rapidly build out new prototypes and new game ideas and stuff like that, as either we get new work for higher pitches or if we're doing like internal original IP games, right? So yeah, not really so much like, I'd love to work with these guys or that guys on it, but just like Unreal 4 was a very new engine to us when we started this project, and now I feel like we've become experts in it, and I'm super looking forward to. We've already started a couple of prototypes that, of course, I can't talk about, but and they're moving so fast now because the engine is so spry. It's like so easy for us to make new stuff in. So
yo, this is just amazing to hear. Do y'all hear this? Like, this is crazy. Yo, look, God bless, man. Love you, dog. I really, really, really appreciate like you just taking time out. This is just phenomenal, man. So is there anything you want to say to the fans? Let them know where they can find you if they want to hit you up on Twitter, talk to you about the game when it comes out, all of that. Let them know.
Yeah, man. So it's January 12th on Xbox One, PS4, and Steam PC, $14.99. Digital download only, so worldwide, that date, those systems. And otherwise, hey, everybody, thanks for checking it out, and I hope everybody has a really great time with it. So,
all right, that's it. We out of here, man. It's your boy HipHopGamer, Hot 97 BT, GameStop, Gangster, dog. We out of here. Gemini, Heroes Reborn. We out. One. Oh,
awesome.
Woo! Now that.
Look, it's the HipHopGamer show. What it is, HipHopGamer show.